All right, the market yesterday, not so bad. Bitcoin kind of having a rough spot right now. We'll take a look at that. We'll also talk about Nvidia and Tesla. I'll give an update on TMF in this video, and I got a special one for you at the end that I shared over at my Discord. Now, mind you, all of these technicals get shared over at the Discord, available through the Patreon. That link is down in the description. They're available before they hit YouTube. So if you guys want to see these technicals as they come out and be able to trade off of them, use them as part of your due diligence, that's already available for you. Go ahead and check that out down in the description. Later on, I'll tell you about how you can do the technical analysis yourself using the link for Stockmo Academy and getting it cheaper using the code word doctor. For right now, let's get into the charts on this. So we're going to kick things off with SPY, QQQ, and IWM. And we have some very exciting news about IWM. I think you're going to like what you see there, and we'll see if it plays out the way that I think it's going to play out. So let's pop this up, and like I said, we're going to kick things off with SPY first. There we go. All right, so check this out. The rising wedge pattern over here. I left this on here, and I said even though we fell out of it, I'm going to leave it on here because we can still find them as resistance. And then look what happened yesterday for SPY. We actually got rejected right at this trend line again. Now, that might be a bearish sign for us if we can't get over 600. If we can get over 600, and if we can get a full candle above that. So seeing where today opens, seeing where it closes, a nice strong green candle today would be excellent. For seeing that one, I think that could push us up to that 609, almost 610 level before we hit some pretty massive resistance that's up there. So be on the lookout for that. If we fail to break that, watch out for 589 and 585 down below. The big thing about the difference between these two lines that you see on here, as a matter of fact, I'll turn this one green for you for support. There we go. Biggest difference you want to watch out for is, let me move this over here out of the way. Actually, let me put that back, move that over. There you go. This blue line is the 20-period moving average, and that's a big one to watch for support, so be on the look for that one. If we hit 589 and catch support, good. We're still on top of the 20. We can have a nice climb off that like you see more recently here in the past couple of trading days. So if we hit the 585 and we have that blue line as resistance, then we have the 50 to watch down below, right around 580 or so. And then if we move into the Qs from there, check out that resistance. And once again, I left the trend lines on because once again, between the resistance we have here and the resistance we have from this top trend line from the rising wedge pattern, we got rejected yesterday, came down to 505, found support, and now we're sort of in between. Watch for that push on 510. It's really important that we can capitalize on 510, almost 511, 513.90 is also a big one, and then 515.35 is the top of this resistance area that can give us a rise up to 520, which there's any amount of big resistance there, so we wouldn't be on the lookout for that. If we fail to break those, we can tumble down a bit more from there. 498 is a big one. You can see a big fat area support down here, which we got beaten down on last week, going down into, I guess it would be 2 weeks ago on Friday the 15th. Big old drop, and then have a pretty significant climb from there. IWM, check this out. I took away the technicals because back here, going all the way back to November of 21 was the last time that we had our peak for the Russell 2000 ETF at 244.46. Yesterday, we finally broke it before getting rejected. 244.98 is the new all-time high for that. And the closing price, 242.40. So we did get rejected. We did sell below that. But guys, look at the shape of that graph. That is starting to look very much like the cup that's just missing its handle. So if we watch this price get rejected and we start to trail off this way, we want to watch for a trend line to be established where we would slowly fade off this way. We saw it happen with Nvidia. We saw it happen with SPY and QQQ going throughout 2022 sell-off, and then just a massive rally after that one. So if this is a time where we start to sell off down this way, that we start to form a handle off of this cup, that can be a really steep climb. So from 160 up to about 244, that would be about an $80 climb, we'll say. So that would put us up into the low 300s to get a climb off of that. Now, mind you, it depends on how deep that handle comes in. Hopefully, it doesn't come in too deep off of that. So we'll say high 200s to low 300s to be where we could potentially see that if we see that trailing off and if we see favorable economic conditions to go along with those small caps. So let's say that we completely avoid recession, that economic growth continues to be strong, that the Fed continues to cut rates steadily. That'd be a very favorable environment. And in the instance that we start to see the interest rates go very low on that, the Fed goes a little bit more aggressive with that, which now, mind you, be a pretty tough sell because Fed getting aggressive with rate cuts would kind of signal recessionary times. But we'll happen to see what sort of narrative plays out. But be on the watch over the next several weeks, maybe months, if we get a trailing off of the price for IWM to see that cup and handle play out. And we can get a massive rally that goes along below beyond that. Now, mind you, I do have technicals on this as well. It looks like a big hot mess. A few things that I want you to see among this mess are these diagonal lines going across the screen here. Those would be very important to remember because that is a parallel channel that we're in, a long-term bull channel from green down here to red up there. And looking at the monthly chart does tell us a little bit more of a story for that. Let me reset the view so you can see it better. And you can see this goes all the way back to about 2009. So for the Russell 2000 stocks, please be on the lookout for those. Let's move over to Nvidia. Nvidia is highly important. Now, mind you, we touched the 50 EMA for this. This could be a very bullish thing if we find it as support. We are down below the faster moving averages here, the 5, the 13 EMAs, the 20 SMA. If we push down below the 50, we're probably going to tumble for quite a bit more before we kind of find ground for that one. So we're going to be on the lookout for it. Nvidia, for where that bottom is, we have a big fat area of support, by the way, down here at about 133 to 134, which is just south of the 50 SMA that's on there. And then any number of lines of support that follow along that from the Fibonacci extensions. And then also historical support down below that. We really start to get into choppy territory around 130, going all the way down to, we'll say 118. So that in and of itself could cause a little bit of choppiness if we move to the downside. If we find support instead, I just want to point out that bouncing off the 50 like we did back here gave a rise going all the way from 115 all the way up to about 144. So that's a $29 climb. So from here, if we're able to pull that off, that could be something pretty massive for us. Now, the RSI is even down in bearish territory. I do, as a long-term investor in Nvidia, want to see that price softness come in to get some cheaper shares in there. And what we're looking for is that next part of the growth curve to really kick in. Are we at the maximum growth point of the S-curve? Are we hitting a longer band of the S-curve? What's going to allow more rampant growth for longer? So that's being decided and digested by the markets. We're seeing it happen right now. Bitcoin sitting on top of its 13-period moving average on the daily chart here. It fell just shy of 100,000. If you've been tracking Bitcoin, you know that one. How deep is it going to cut? I have some technicals on here for you. 89,645 is that next big line we want to watch for support. After that, it's the 84,447. Staying on top of both of those is going to be absolutely critical for us to see a return to pushing back up on that $100,000 mark, which is that line that you see here in white on your screen. We have massive resistance at about 106.5 to 107.8, almost 108. So we're going to be watching for that next climb. We are finally back into, or I should say out of overbought territory, just back into regular bullish territory. And right now this candle is shaping up, looking a little bit indecisive, and being in the bullish territory for momentum on the daily RSI is a good thing. It is dropping though, so that's something we also want to keep our eye on because that could move us down to bearish territory. If we stay bearish for too long, too many candles on the daily chart, we're still probably in overbought territory for the weekly and monthly RSI. So we want to keep that in mind as well. Tesla, we want to see us stay on top of this 5-period EMA in the near term. Now, mind you, we're still getting higher lows on this thing. That's a good thing. And we do have higher highs, so still fairly bullish looking on this one. Having a bit of a beat down yesterday, down almost 4%. Now, mind you, up at the tops of this thing, right around 360. 360 is that number that we want to get on top of. We want to see the bulls keep on pushing that line, keeping the bears from pushing this down even further. So higher lows coming in and keeping steady highs would really give us that pressure to the upside that would push us up into the higher $300 range. So up into the upper 300s, I should say. So up above 350, hopefully even up above 360, push on towards that 400. And I think that we could see that rally through the end of the year that might just show that to us. So we want to keep that in mind. We want to keep looking for it. So moving on to TMF, check out the technicals on TMF. We made it yesterday back into the symmetric triangle pattern, which is a consolidation pattern that we did fall at the bottom of, which is a bearish thing. And now, mind you, we did catch support down around $43 per share. And I do think that Janet Yellen stepping down has something to do with the pop that we saw yesterday with the rally from it, some pressure coming off of that maybe we get somebody in office that isn't so aggressive at selling more bonds and adding to the U.S. debt load that's out there. And I think that's some of the euphoria that we saw coming off. This blue line is the one that you want to watch. That's the 20-period moving average. We got rejected several times, 1, 2, nearly 3 times, but when we didn't get there the third time, that's when things dropped for us the last time. And we've been down below that, going all the way back to the middle of September is when we first got below that and haven't been able to get above it. This is our first candle above the 20-period. After that, we want to take on the 50 and the 200, which just gave us a death cross sign. Not so hot back on Wednesday, on November the 20th. So we want to be watchful for that one. If we're able to get back in that consolidation pattern, good. Up above 49.40, good. Getting above 50 is going to be tough for us, but also a good thing. So watch the 20-period moving average. We want to stay on top of it. RSI up above 50. That's a bullish thing. Now we just need to keep that momentum going. Hopefully it's not just a peekaboo moment for it, but this rising momentum has been happening going all the way back to the beginning of November, that we actually had the price dropping while the momentum was climbing yesterday. A good day. Let's see if we can stay up above that trend line as support. Up above 50 for the RSI to stay bullish on TMF. And now Teladoc. This is one of the speculative plays that I have that yesterday had a great climb. And I said going back to Thursday, if you look over in the Discord, if you're part of that, or if not, you can join the Discord using the link for Patreon down in the description. Click on that and sign up. Head on over to the Discord. Check out my technicals on watch page. You can also see my buys and sells as well over in the Discord. I said we had a big move on good volume. Watch for more. Friday had a bit of a hesitation, and now we're up above the 200-day. And what else I said about this is golden cross incoming. We are now on top of the 200-day, up above the 50-day, up above the 20-day. All bullish signs. We are up in the overbought territory, so we could see some cooling if we retest the $11 mark. And what we have for the 200-day, if we're able to hold that as support, that golden cross should be on its way. If we can hold it as support and bounce from there, we should have confirmation that that 50, which is in pink on your screen here, is going to come up and cross the 200-day, and we should see some rampant price action there, potentially from $13 to $15 per share. I have positions in Teladoc, and I took a recent position in Teladoc, a call option on this one, up about 24% yesterday. Might soften a little bit today. We're going to have to see what happens, but once again, we had a strong volume move. The one downside to that move, the one that I can see right now, is that we're in overbought territory. So if we have some of that price softness coming in, the big thing is that we stay on top of the 200-day. And like I said, we could still see a significant climb, 10, 20% from here to see us push up to that $13 to $15 range in the near future for Teladoc. So if you guys stuck around to the end of this video and well, you saw Teladoc on there, that is one of the massive opportunities that it's out there. I think it's going to be a really good play for us moving forward, especially if we hold that 200-day as support. So guys, like I said, about that Patreon, Discord, links down in the description for that. Click on it, sign up. And if you guys want to do this technical analysis yourself and get access to the bread recipe trading strategy, which is what I used, by the way, for the Teladoc. I also used it for Big Bear AI, which was a massive play for us, moving up over 50%. Now, mind you, anybody over in the Discord took advantage of that as well. Absolutely massive move on that one as well. That bread recipe trading strategy, the technicals, you can learn how to do it all yourself using the link for Stockmo Academy down in the description. Click on that, sign up, use the code word doctor when you do. It's going to give you a massive discount. And guys, it is a rock solid course built by educational professionals, Stockmo, Mrs. Mo, and vetted by me, having my doctorate in education, 17 years in the field. And I can tell you, it is the best technical analysis course I've seen out there, and they just added on. There's another course out there for options as well. If you check out Stockmo Academy, you can look at that as well. And we'll see what I can do with Stockmo about getting a promo code for that. And we'll see what we can do. Guys, thank you for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.